Welcome back to the Breslin Center, Class C, the title game between St. Martin dePorres and the Spartans of Mason County Central. Let's get your starting lineups. Let's go to Eric O'Shea.
Michigan State University welcomes you to the Breslin Student Event Center for today's final game in the 1998 Michigan High School Athletic Association Class C Boys Basketball Tournament. Educational athletics teach lifetime values, but it all goes for naught if spectators, particularly parents and young adults, don't participate in the learning process. Remember that good sports are winners because they know that sportsmanship begins at home. Now let's meet the starting lineup for today's game between the Eagles of Detroit St. Martin dePorres and the Spartans of Mason County Central. For dePorres at forward, 6'2" junior, 21, Calvin Hughes. For Mason County Central at forward, 5'10" junior, 31, Ken Papis. For the Eagles at forward, 6'5" senior, 32, Teremun Johnson. For the Spartans at forward, 6'6" senior, 53, David Gregoire. At center for Detroit St. Martin dePorres, 6'7" junior, 55, Aloysius Anaganye. At center for Mason County Central, 6'7" senior, 45, Chad Pleiness. At guard, for the Eagles, 6'3" senior, number 3, David Denham.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
For the Spartans at guard, 5'11" senior, number 3, Jesse Deering. The other guard for the Eagles, 5'9" junior, 14, Jason Owens. And for the Spartans at guard, 5'9" senior, 11, Adrian Witten. Eagles coached by Derek Owens, Spartans by Tim Jensen. Officials today,
Eric O'Forsyth with the introductions,
Dolvina,
Coach Owens and Coach Jensen, ready to see exactly what brings them their way to this Class C final. The Eagles of St. Martin dePorres looking for their 6th title game. Derek Owens, 94-27 in his 5 years. There's Coach Tim Jensen, 90-26 in his 5 years, a graduate of Mason County Central, and an awful lot of pride coming back to where he went to school and now works as the AD and the head coach. These two teams obviously very successful in getting here. Mason County Central ripping Ishpeming Thursday night, and dePorres taking care of business against Kalamazoo Christian 65-57.
Big storyline tonight, or this afternoon, Matt, is I'm not sure how the Spartans are going to be able to match up on the glass with dePorres. dePorres is very big, strong, athletic. That's going to be the key to who wins this ball game.
You want beef? You got it in the middle. Pleiness, 6'7", 235 pounds, an all-state football player and basketball players. Anaganye, all-state, 6'7", 220. There's our officials, Mark Richer, Kenneth McKee, and Joel Venya. For this Class C title tilt, Mason County Central has never been here. dePorres, a 4-time champion in this class, also in Class D, and the Spartans will control, moving left to right. Witten to Pleiness, left side. And we'll see what kind of defense dePorres opens with. Wide open jumper from the right side. Deering misses. And dePorres with a rebound. Denham, who does it all, a big guard who can shoot it from the outside but likes to post up. Owens will work the left side. Anaganye, the big fella, the all-stater, a unanimous selection. In the lane, the little leaner off the back iron, and Pleiness rips down the board. Spartans the other way. Witten very quick. And you know, Jensen was telling us before the ball game, to McCormick, that the Spartans don't mind running with the Eagles. They just got to be picking their spots and choose them wisely when they want to try to kick it in high gear.
You're right, man. It's called selective running, and both of these teams will employ that strategy. They're capable of playing up and down, but they also have the patience.
All Staters right there, one with the ball, the other on defense. Backdoor cut for Witten and a foul underneath. What a story, Adrian Witten.
Detroit dePorres does a tremendous job of pressuring the ball, but that allows gaps and seams to the basket. Adrian Witten going to the hole, and dePorres' Coach Owens told me yesterday that his biggest concern isn't the guys inside, it's being able to contain Adrian Witten.
Almost a turnover there, and there's a swat away by Anaganye and out of bounds.
First couple minutes, you block a shot. In the back of all Mason County Central's minds, they're going to be thinking, oh, where's Anaganye at? Great rejection.
And he did it against a big guy as well. Loose ball on the floor. Witten comes away with it to Pleiness, and they'll try to settle it down. 7 minutes to go in the first quarter, just underway. We're scoreless in the Class C title game. Deering with a ball fake. Now Pleiness, another one. dePorres isn't buying into that. Witten trying to drive on the All-State Johnson. And fadeaway jumper, and the Spartans draw first blood. Johnson back the other way, and the pass a little far from Owens. Now Hughes for three, yes.
21, Calvin Hughes.
Both teams starting man-to-man. Adrian Witten is the guy to watch, and he's got a tough matchup today because he's playing against a very big defender in Teremun Johnson.
Here's Deering from the left wing. Rims out, and a backside rebound by Denham. dePorres, that's what makes them so tough, Tim. They are so big at the guards as well as the forward, and obviously the big fella underneath, and Deering fell down hard in the middle of the court.
Well, he banged his head. He's about 15 feet from us, and I saw the ricochet. Stepping in, trying to take a charge. Teremun Johnson very good on the break. Watch the head. Bam! They're trying to use their quickness, and he feels like if he can slide underneath Johnson, he has a chance to make him do some things he's not capable of. And I would say that Jesse Deering is a very important part of being the offense leader for this team.
No question, Tim. He's a four-year starter, and this is tugging on Tim Jensen's heart just a little bit because he babysat Jesse Deering when Deering was just 4 years old. 3-2, St. Martin dePorres on top of Mason County Central. Whole lot of time left in the Class C title till. Come on back on Fox Sports Detroit. Jesse Deering is on the bench and taking his place. Number 41 for Mason County Central, Rusty Murky. So we'll see if Deering can come back. A very important part of offense and defense for Tim Jensen and the Spartans. 3-2, dePorres on top, 5:56 left to go in this first quarter of action. Johnson underneath, out to Hughes, who hit from three earlier. This one's an air ball, and Pleiness is there to take control for the Spartans.
I'm enjoying the Pleiness-Anaganye matchup down low. A couple big bodies playing very physical, but they've also shown a little perimeter game as well.
Here's Witten, right side. Now Pappas. Pappas, a role player, didn't start in this tournament until they beat Ishpeming the other night. Johnson with a backside rebound. He and his Eagles up on top by one. He'll take Murky in the lane, dish it off right side to Denham, who muscles it up off the window, and it's 5-2. Spartans with a three-point lead, 5:15 left to go in the first.
Matt, Denham is the guy to watch for this team because he brings the intangibles. Everybody focuses on Johnson and Anaganye, but he's the one capable.
Here's Witten with an air ball, backside. Denham lost it out of bounds. Witten isn't playing under control like he did in the win over Ishpeming the other night. Now here comes Deering back into the ball game, and Murky will sit down.
Little surprised that Central hasn't taken more of an aggressive posture in trying to get the big guys down low. Everything's been from the perimeter.
The inbound to Pleiness. Pleiness two-time, now in the lane, and swatted away by Anaganye, his second block of the ball game. Numbers for dePorres. Bad pass from Denham, intended for Owens and knocked out of bounds. Tim Jensen wanted a travel there.
Chad Pleiness showing a nice little handle, but I've got to believe up in the upper part of Michigan, he doesn't see somebody with the wingspan and the timing of Al Anaganye, who, as I mentioned earlier, I think he may be the best post player in the state of Michigan.
He's just a junior. The senior, far side. Denham misses the three-point try. Witten back the other way. Quickly crossover dribble. Now Pleiness right wing. He'll shoot it from out there, but it's tough when you got Anaganye in your face. Now Pappas. That one's short, and Owens collects up the miss. Owens, good look up ahead, but the pass a little high and out of bounds for Hughes. 4.5 left to go in the first. It's 5-2. dePorres on top. You expect this kind of play, I guess, early, Tim.
Guys are a little bit nervous. There's the high energy that you bring out here. And after 3 or 4 minutes, then it's time to really settle down. And I don't think that Mason County Central has been patient enough getting their shots.
Deering, the best pure shooter on the Spartans club, misses again. Denham back the other way, and he'll slow it down and give it up to Johnson, or Anaganye, who now gives it to Johnson. Everything runs through Teremun Johnson, the All-Stater. Right side to Owens. Owens will direct traffic. Hughes left alone for 3 again. This one is short. He's had his look. There's no question about that. Loose ball on the floor. dePorres has it. Denham baseline off the Klexi and down. Big fella's causing some problems for Mason County Central. 4 for Denham. And now Witten has to slow it up. Left side to Deering. Spartans need to hit their open jumpers, Tim McCormick. That's what Tim Jensen was telling us earlier. When they get open looks, they need to hit them. Deering has missed. Witten has missed. Now Pleiness. Good little turnaround jumper. Talk about an athlete. This guy can play not only basketball, but football and baseball. An All-Stater in football and basketball. As a junior last year, he was honorable mention All-State in baseball. He's going to be a Chippewa next year. And play for Jay Smith and Dick Flynn. Now Johnson, baseline. A fadeaway jumper, and it rolls home. 9-4. dePorres on top with 3 minutes even left to go in the first quarter.
You get the sense that if dePorres gets the ball inside, there's going to be little resistance. Mason County Central doesn't bring the shot blockers to the table.
Pleiness will pop from 17 and drill it.
I like his game. He's showing a little bit more than I expected from the perimeter. We knew that he brings the inside package, but that's a beautiful touch for a big man.
For a guy who's 6'7", 235 pounds, and Jensen will go to his bench. Deering with a steal and a great job to get it ahead to Witten, who will beat everybody to the glass and down. That's what Jesse Deering brings, Tim. Defensive aggressiveness, and that's what he worked on during the offseason. As I said before, holds a very close spot in Tim Jensen's heart, being the 4-year starter and doing the things he's done for this program. Here's Johnson. He and dePorres on top by 1 as we approach the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Hughes to Owens' right side. Looking to dump it in. Instead, pops for 3 and nails it. The coach's son comes up big there, giving dePorres a 4-point bulge. Pleiness to a cutting Witten. Baseline sometimes likes to hit that fadeaway jumper. This time got caught in the air, but finds his co-captain. Here's Witten. He'll pop for 3 and nail it from the right baseline. Not bad for a kid who is fitting into this team after not even playing last year. He's got 7 early, and we got a foul underneath, and it's an offensive one on the All-Stater Anaganye. We talk about Adrian Witten. We talk about what he can do with a basketball on the dribble drive, but when you leave him open, he can drain the outside J, can't he, Tim?
Absolutely, Matt, and the key thing about that, if Adrian Witten's making his shot, that does nothing but enhance the other offensive games of his teammates.
He is a 58% knockdown free throw or shooter from the field. He is good there, and he brings his Spartans to within 1. Adrian Witten, 5'9" senior. And let's go inside the huddle with Tim Jensen.
And I want David to come across and screen for Chad into the block.
Who's spotting up out of it?
Jesse.
Jesse's spotting up.
He's got to get some off. Okay, here we go. Head tap, head tap, head tap. You're going to dribble to your right. Let John Peterson set a high screen. John, as soon as you set the high screen, you wheel hard to the weak side. David, start on the right. Screen for Chad. Chad, you come across. Jesse, as soon as John comes through, John, look for his man. Set a screen. Jesse, you spot up right here. If you don't have it, ball reversal, okay? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Gotta keep moving. Tell Kitty, you're standing around. Team, 1, 2, 3, team.
Tim Jensen, the Class C Coach of the Year after leading his Spartans to a 20-0 regular season, the best season Mason County Central has ever had. They are within 1 of St. dePorres. It's 12-11, Eagles on top.
a little insight from their huddle. They're going to run a high pick and roll. But the key thing, remember, they want to look to the weak side. Mason Central, very aggressive offensively. They've already got 14 shots up.
They have 4 looks, but dePorres has matched them as far as field goals made, and that's why they lead it by 1 as we approach the minute mark of the first quarter. Pleiness, right side against Anaganye, a great matchup that we will watch all night long. His turnaround jumper from 15 is down. First lead of the ball game for the Spartans.
Quick impression, offensively versus man. They run a motion, balanced floor, nice spacing, and all of their players are very good handling the ball on the perimeter.
Spartans show you a little something coming back. Anaganye left alone, now to Hughes, right side. He has a triple already in the ball game, but has missed a couple of jumpers. TJ underneath. Johnson's pass a little too hard, out of bounds. Did the Spartans get a hand on it? No, they did not. 38.2 left to go in the first. Mason County Central wanted to hang with dePorres early, and they've done just that. They're on top 13-12.
Defensively, dePorres does a real nice job of keeping Mason County Central on the perimeter. The best possessions so far for the Spartans, though, have been when they've had a little penetration from their guys.
dePorres playing man-to-man. It's Owens against Witten. A lot of speed, quickness out there. Witten looking for underneath, but can't find him. Johnson leads the break the other way. He'll take it strong at the hole, lay it up. No, it rims out. Fight for a loose ball underneath, and we've got a whistle.
Hustle plays on the break. At this point in the game, players getting a little bit tired, a little winded. This is a real key point. 1 point lead for Mason County Central. They have to stay in touch and always pay attention. And that's losing concentration right there. They got a break.
Turnover. Oh, Anaganye with a monster slam. Greg Wurr had the rebound but lost it. And that'll do it for the first quarter. St. Martin dePorres 14, Mason County Central 13. Solid first quarter of action. Back with more from the Breslin Center. The state finals of Class C on Fox Sports Detroit. Red Wings continue their surge toward defending their Stanley Cup championship. Check out the next Red Wings home game tomorrow, 7 o'clock, right here on Fox Sports Detroit against Dominic Hasek and the Buffalo Sabres. Ken Daniels, Mickey Redmond have your blow-by-blow. Fox Sports tonight. Red Wings pregame starts the night off live at 6:30. Back at the Breslin Center, Matt Shepard along with Tim McCormick. St. Martin dePorres up by 1. Your first quarter impressions, Tim.
Al is going to be pressuring the ball and jamming the outlet pass all game. Now, it's a good strategy. Over the course of the game, 9 out of 10 times, there's no benefit. But what has happened here, by him getting out there, getting his hands active, he's jump-started his game. Now, this is his first basket. And what happens is you give a big man a dunk, the adrenaline starts flowing, and he becomes a monster out there, not only at the defensive end, but at the offensive end as well.
Not to mention his blocks earlier. Witten and Pleiness, all 13 points for the Spartans. Not exactly what Tim Jensen wanted, although he'll take being down just 1 after the first 8 minutes of play.
First time we've seen some zone.
Sturdivant into the ball game for dePorres, and he makes his presence felt with a triple try, and at 17-13, Eagles on top. Five-0 run for dePorres now. As the Spartans try to slash into that deficit, they are down by 4.
Little 2-3 zone. A lot of times, out of a timeout, the coaches will make adjustments. Both coaches made the same adjustment, try to take their opponent out of the offensive set they had planned.
Tim Keith has checked into the ball game for the Spartans, a guy who started 16 games but was benched in favor of Ken Pappas. So Jesse Deering will inbound and found Pleiness. Just about a minute gone by here in the second quarter. Deering for 3, short. dePorres with a rebound. The outlet intended for Johnson, stolen by Witten. Pleiness will try the triple. That one is long. And Johnson was waiting on the other end.
I think that's an example of a guy making some good plays in close and starting to feel like Superman.
Confidence got him to where he is, but that time he needed more than just the confidence. As Denham follows up with a dePorres bucket there, and they're on top by 6. Like a travel that time down for the Spartans, and back we go the other way. Mason County Central cannot afford to continue to turn the ball over.
And the other thing they can't do is they can't forget what got them there, and that's team rebounding. The size and strength of dePorres is too big and too strong for them. They need 5 guys sinking and filling, and in that particular situation, the guards were leaking out onto the court. That's a rebound that Adrian Witten's got to get in there and help out, and Ken Pappas has to help as well.
Hughes open for 3. He's short there. Back comes Mason County. Witten will take it himself and drill it from 8. 19-15, dePorres on top by 4.
Matt, how'd you like the recognition there? They're playing advantage basketball. You get to half court, and you make your decision. You've got numbers, go for it.
Witten 17 points in the win over Ishpeming in 31 minutes of play the other night. Sturdivant between the rings, right side Hughes. And Gagne. He'll take it in the lane. His fadeaway jumper is good and +1. Looked like Pleiness got him on the arm there, Tim.
This is a pet peeve of mine. If you're going to play defense on the perimeter, you have to go straight up. You're not going to block his shot. He's 6'7", he's a leaper. Now, anytime you can take a big man out on the court, I'm sure that Pleiness isn't used to playing guys on the perimeter. And here's my new rule change, okay? If you foul a perimeter jump shooter, it's 2 shots, plus you got to give 10 fingertip push-ups. This guy's been talking
That'll
about,
work for some.
Yeah, coaches teach from an early age, you can't foul the jump shooter.
dePorres very impressive in the win over Kalamazoo Christian. Their big fellas made the free throws down the stretch. Gagne makes good there. They're on top by 7 with 5:40 left to go in the first half.
Little 1-1-3 along the baseline, matchup zone defense by dePorres.
Pappas wide open underneath, but the pass a little hard. 4th turnover for Mason County Central. They want to talk it over with Tim Jensen. They trail by 7. 5:34 left to go. Let's see what Jensen has in store for his team. It's a 20-second timeout.
In the middle. Do you see how available that is? You can't throw it to the 3rd row, though, okay? All right?
His ankle's hurt.
Rusty, go. Sprint over there for Kenny. Not now. Not now. Let's go. Come on, team. 1, 2, 3. Team.
Little things in a ball game sometimes make a big difference. And that time, Murky couldn't get in on time. Coming up at the halftime, our Scholar Athlete Award coming your way, along with stats and highlights. And, of course, Tim on the telestrator giving his first half impressions.
Ken Pappas, number 31 for the Spartans, has a twisted ankle. And what you're going to see next dead ball, Rusty Murky's going to come in and give him a blow.
Well, Jensen wanted Murky in there to break the huddle and quickly get over to the scorer's table, but he didn't get there in time. And Gagne with the rock right side, and Johnson will set up the offense. And the Eagles on top by 7. He'll take it in the lane. Floater, no. Follow-up, block, but a foul. dePorres shooting 53% so far here in the early going. Mason County Central, 39% from the floor.
I like a player with good recognition. Teremun Johnson realizes that if he can get in the paint, there's no resistance there. Mason County Central doesn't have the shot blockers. He gets after the ball. And the advantage I saw right there, once a shooter releases the ball, he's the only one that has an idea where it's going to come off. He's a good shooter. As soon as it left his hands, he knew it was short. He knew it was a little bit left.
He'll be playing at Fordham next year. The first one rims out. This is a guy who took last year's loss to Bishop Gorgeous really, really hard. Concentrated on his game in the offseason. Worked with his brother Dominic. And it has helped immensely, as you can tell.
You see a little Magic Johnson in his game?
He wishes.
That's his idol.
Second one rims out.
You can have dreams, right?
Sure can. Magic usually knocks down freebies like that, though. 7-point differential. dePorres on top of Mason County Central. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half.
2-3 zone, and check out how far out on the court they're extended.
Sturdivant was way out there and will challenge. See, the Spartans in a foul underneath. The Spartans haven't been challenged necessarily with the backcourt all season long. They are so quick. They average 19.5-point wins this year, unbeaten.
the penetration from Pleiness. You expect him to be a big post-up guy, but look at the rotation defensively. They had 3 guys surrounding Chad. They had done their job defensively. That's where you have to have the maturity and the responsibility to not reach and put him on the foul line.
Here's Pleiness, an 80% free throw shooter on the year.
Coming off a game 16 and 10 versus Ishpeming.
More than 1,200 career points for Pleiness. His 2 freebies bring him within 5. He has 8 on the evening, and it's 4:40 left to go in the first. dePorres on top by 5.
2-3 zone.
Sturdivant running the offense. Johnson left alone. Thought he was going to take the 3. Turnaround jumper from the big fella. Anaganye and a foul. Second foul on Anaganye, climbing over Pleiness's back.
2-3 zone. Now, anytime that you're going to play against this, that's the hole in the zone. The guards are very high out on the court. Along the baseline, they have a chance to rotate. At that spot right there, that's where if you can bring a man into the middle, draw the pass, that's the weakness.
Mason County Central down by 5, working with the ball. Pleiness, good up and under move over Johnson. Couldn't get it to go. Fights for the rebound and has a baseline. Put back is short. Follow up, Gregor, no. Mason County had plenty of looks, couldn't come away with it. Here comes dePorres. Sturdivant on the break. Here's Johnson, and he walks. Sixth turnover for dePorres. But they lead by 5 with 3:51 left to go in the first half. The Class C title tilt continues on Fox Sports Detroit after this. Our high school Class C flashback takes you back to 1986. Chris Coles and Saginaw Buena Vista down 1 to Flint Beecher when Coles launches a 70-footer to become a hero and a state champion. Chris Coles, whose father, Charlie Coles, coached at Central Michigan University. He and Saginaw Buena Vista, champions back in 1986.
What I notice early out of dePorres defensively is they do a nice job of building a wall right around the zone. Nobody can come in there. And the key thing to remember, watch as the ball starts to go in, the defenders sag and they protect the lane. That's the reason they have a very strong advantage on the boards early on.
Derek Owens going more to his bench. Aaron Glaspie is checked into the ball game. He did not play the other night in the win against Kalamazoo Christian. Jason Owens is also fresh for dePorres, who are now in a zone defense. Witten has a baseline, is triple teamed in front of the dePorres bench. He finds Murky underneath, the lay-in, yes, kind roll.
I have no idea how that ball got through there. What a play.
High kiss, and it's 22-19. dePorres on top with 3:20 left to go in the first half. Mason County is also in a zone D. Sturdivant's long-range jumper from 3, no. And Denham fights 2 Spartans to get the rebound. The putback, yes. They will give the bucket to Aaron Glaspie. 24-19, dePorres, here's another turnover, and Owens will slow it down midcourt.
Really like the patience and discipline of this dePorres team. They understand that their advantage is to be able to work the clock, 4 or 5 passes, and the defense is going to lose their concentration. And a big part of their game has been developed from playing in the Catholic League. That's a style where you run up and down, but you also have to be able to pull it out and play some half-court basketball as Coach Owens wants to talk things over.
Derek Owens takes a 20-second timeout. Let's go inside that Mason County Central huddle and see what Tim Jensen's telling his Spartans.
Okay, go man to man. Go man to man. Here, okay? Don't let him get on the glass. Let's go.
Here we go, go. Here we go.
Team, 1, 2, 3, team. Too much respect. Too much respect.
Well, you heard it. He wants to limit the rebounding opportunities for dePorres. Tim Jensen, who attended Mason County Central back in 1985. an awful lot of pride. They are playing for more than just a school. They are playing for an entire community, Tim.
I'm getting tired just watching him work the sideline. This guy brings grade A intensity, and you notice that when his guys come off after a timeout, he's the first guy out there slapping them on the behind, encourage them. I like his coaching style a great deal.
Positive reinforcement. Denham. Owens, top of the key, left side. Sturdivant has had a couple open looks from the triple range. Now he'll take it in the lane. Stop, and Murky cut him off well. Spartans, you heard Jensen tell you they were going to go to a man-to-man, and it worked. 3-second lane violation. Turnover for dePorres. Number 7 in the first half.
I give a lot of credit to Coach Jensen there. They've been going primarily zone defense out of the timeout. dePorres comes out with a play. They're not used to going against man-to-man, and it threw them off.
Pleiness against Sturdivant there, had the height advantage, but can't get by the quickness of Mark Sturdivant. Witten far side, now Deering. Deering's been cold early. Witten left alone for 3, and he buries it. Big bucket there, the Spartans within 2.
You think the Spartans like playing in the home of Michigan State?
You think Witten likes playing here? He leads everybody with 12. Good spin move by Denham off the window. It doesn't fall, and Witten has the board. Now he'll back it up. Good decision making by Witten. You like that about this kid. Good up and under move by Pleiness. In and out. Rebound, Murky trying to save it, and he does. Gregor with a hustle. Pleiness in the lane. Little bunny, no. Follow up, yes. But a whistle before the shot could go down from David Gregor. We talk about the big guys underneath, Tim McCormick, but the way Adrian Witten is dictating tempo for the Spartan offense has to make you think that Mason County is playing their type of game right now. Pleiness at the free throw line, 66-17 since he's been on the varsity club. A starter the last 2 years. His first free throw is short.
So far, that's only 6 free throws taken, and a big part of that has been that these teams are settling for a lot of jump shots.
Jensen thought this kid would never be a player when he showed up in green sweats in a 6th grade summer camp, but he worked hard and he became an all-stater. And he has brought his Spartan club within 1. Hughes, turnaround jumper, and he's hacked, but it wouldn't fall for him, so he'll tow it for 2.
Post game, I like the entry pass a lot. Nice bounce pass, fundamental. And there you see up and under. If you let a good post man get deep position, 3 things can possibly happen. 2 of them are good. He's either going to make the basket or he's going to get to the foul line.
Gregor's 3rd foul has put Hughes on the free throw line. Calvin Hughes, a very impressive young man, just a junior, 6'2". Worked hard in the offseason by going to Houston and run where his mother lives. And then all season long, he and Jason Owens opened up the gym and shot hoops.
You know, his grandma's the principal at dePorres High School. That takes all the pressure off when you get sent to the principal's office, doesn't it?
Puts more pressure on her, though. He missed them both. Here's Jesse Deering, right side. Gregor, by the way, checked out of that Spartan lineup. Pleiness trying to get it done himself. Wouldn't fall. Rebound underneath. Loose ball on the floor. Both clubs hustling for those loose balls. Here's Johnson, who's been very quiet in the first half. He's 2-timed at the baseline. He finds Owens and back to Johnson. Deering on him. Bit of a mismatch as far as height is concerned, but Deering's the best defender on the Spartan ball club. Baseline jumper wouldn't go, but a foul underneath. Somebody doesn't like it. Obviously a foul on Mason County Central.
At this point, notice where he's catching the ball. He needs to be right down in here because Al Anaganwe, the big guy, the great shot blocker, is on the bench. This is playing right into the defense's hands because if you're shooting jump shots from out in this range, you're never going to get the offensive rebound. Matt, conversely, how do you like the ability of Teremun Johnson to understand what his team needs with Anaganwe on the bench? He knows that he has to take his game down low, and that's the versatility that I like so much about him.
And Johnson, you got to feel good if you're Derek Owens. Right now, your All-Stater has only 3 points, and yet you're still on top by 2. Under 30 seconds to go. Pickoff. Sturdivant has it back the other way for dePorres, and they can play for final shot if they want. Deering trying to hound Johnson, and he gives it up to Sturdivant.
Man-to-man defense. Notice how open the middle of the court is at this point.
10 seconds left to go in the first half. Sturdivant in the lane. Wide open for Hughes for 3. That one is short. Pleiness gathers it up, but it doesn't look like the Spartans would get a final shot. But a traveling call with 0.4 seconds left.
Now, Chad can do a lot of things. One of them he can't do is the splits.
6'7", 235 pounds. Have to be pretty limber to get it done. Inbound to Owens off the glass. Oh, it wouldn't fall for him. And Tim Jensen breathes a sigh of relief. dePorres had a good look. They will go to the locker room, up by a bucket. You like the inbound play here, Tim?
Absolutely. This is something that's been set up in practices over the course of the year. They work these plays last second, Coach Owens. And that's a coach's son right there, Jason Owens, with a nice understanding that they've got to get up the quick one. Oh, he deserved it. I'd give him that one, all right?
Good look, good play, 25-23. Let's check in with John Keating. John?
All right, guys, thanks. With dePorres coach Derek Owens. Derek, how did the first half go in your estimation? Would you like to run a little bit more than you were able to do against Mason County Central?
Turnovers, not enough rebounds. On the defensive end, they're getting all the loose balls right now, and we're not capitalizing in the transition, so we're making the adjustments to right now.
Okay, Derek Owens, the head coach of dePorres. Short and sweet, guys. They find themselves up by a bucket, 25-23 as we head back to you.
John, thank you. Derek Owens pleased with the first half, but could do better. We'll see what happens in the second half. Our halftime festivities roll on from the Breslin Center right after this on Fox Sports Detroit. dePorres leads at 25-23. Class E bragging rights on the line here at the Breslin Center. We're at the break. Matt Shepard along with Tim McCormick. Tim, your thoughts on the first half? I would think Mason County Central has to be very pleased. Actually could be leading this basketball game.
Coach Jensen's biggest concern was on the glass. They did a nice job in that area. They're tied at halftime. Also, Pleiness and Witten combined for 21 of 23 points. That's more than they expected. I also really like the balance that dePorres got. They need to be more aggressive and make this more of an athletic game inside.
You thought that the Spartans would penetrate a little bit more as well, did you not?
Yeah, and the zone defense is throwing them off at times. Halftime is a period of adjustments, and I'm sure that both of these coaches probably found 3 or 4 things at least that they want to change.
John Keating has found some things as well. Let's check in with John. John?
All right, with Saginaw High head coach Marshall Thomas, we talked about this before the game. The danger is that a team with supposed athletic dominance comes in a bit of overconfidence. We may have seen a little bit of that from dePorres in the first half.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they wanted to use their athleticism and overall using their overall strength. I think that they need to go inside a little bit more, making more of an up-tempo game, which I think would hurt Scottsville, even for no other reason than they aren't able to substitute as much.
Mason County Central has to be happy, as the guys just mentioned, just being down a bucket at halftime.
Even though I think that they come in thinking that they can really win the game. I think they've got to find a better way of scoring on the inside. And one key maybe to look for the second half, Deering hasn't got on yet. If he starts to scoring, dePorres could be in some trouble.
All right, Coach, thanks. Back we go to Matt Shepard.
John, thank you. 16 minutes down, 16 minutes to go. 25-23. dePorres on top of Mason County Central. We're back at the Breslin Center with more right after this on Fox Sports Detroit.
Welcome back to the Breslin Center, where dePorres leads in the Class C final by a bucket. You know, all of the kids that we will see here over the course of the day in East Lansing are student athletes. Certainly some students handle the delicate balance of student and athlete better than others. Well, 24 student athletes are being honored here at the Breslin Center, and we want to give you an inside look at 2 of the 24 scholar athletes in the state this year.
To a student athlete, the athletic field of competition should be an extension of the classroom. School first, activity second. But in a day and age where the true student athlete is becoming a dinosaur, we have a refreshing story of 2 young people who excel not only in athletics, but in academics. Ann Wheeler, a senior and academic All-American at Detroit Country Day, is a classic example of a self-motivated high achiever. She's involved in numerous extracurricular activities, including swimming and softball, while maintaining a 3.92 grade point average.
you have to be focused at every single point of time. You can't let any time slip by you. So in school, I'll have a study hall for a semester because I have swimming, which gives me a lot of time then to get homework done in school, so I won't have as much at home because basically you're exhausted when you get back from sports.
She was All-State as a junior, and her first opportunity to compete against girls in the sport. And then she was All-State again as a senior. She anchored our medley relay to an All-American consideration time and to the first ever All-State relay that we've had. She was just named Academic All-American for swimming. So I mean, she stands out in the crowd.
She puts a lot of time into academics because she wants to be successful. Perfect is not in the vocabulary, but to do the best that she can possibly do is what she wants to do. But when it comes to athletics, Ann is a very devoted swimmer. She is always at the practice in the morning and in the afternoon and on Saturdays, and she spends a lot of time doing that too.
She has a strong moral foundation and a strong character that is just outstanding. I mean, everyone faces adversity, and the way that she handles adversity and stays true to herself through the adversity, to me, is just remarkable.
I basically taught myself how to study, how to make sure I kept time apart for, separate times for studying and for working and on my sports. And so when it came time to prioritize, I basically had that set when I got into high school. And I've always taken at least 3 sports seasons in the middle school, and I did it then in the upper school the first 2 years. So when it came down to my junior and senior year, when I really wanted to start focusing on softball and swimming, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. It does give you a lot less time to go out with your friends on the weekend or to, go to any parties or anything like that, because you have to be very focused on what you're doing.
Another excellent example of a highly motivated self-starter is Dan Kaufman. Dan's a senior at Central Montcalm High School, located northwest of Lansing. A devoted wrestler, he carries a GPA of 3.9, which documents his desire to achieve.
He's got tremendous work habits and work ethic that has been she's shown in leadership throughout our team and program and throughout the school.
Dan is admired not only for his commitment and his desire, but mostly for his resolve. He is used to fighting through problems and overcoming obstacles. You see, Dan is deaf. With the help of an interpreter in his day-to-day routine, he feels there are no boundaries.
Nothing gets in my way, I can do anything just like everybody else can, but I can't hear. We did a report on I can't. What we did, we write down everything we want, like everything down, I can't. Then what happened, we had, let's say, a funeral. So we went out, dig a hole, and we buried it. I can't. So from now on, we can't say I can't. I always tell myself I can. I always encourage myself I'll do it. If I lose, I learn, I keep going. I never give up.
He's always been really conscious of his grades. He had an older sister, I think, that, always got A's in school, and I think competition there, but he's done it on his own. It takes him, it's harder for him, and the studies takes maybe 3 hours a night studying versus somebody else would be 1, but he's done it.
He'll challenge a person. If you're not working hard during practice, he'll come up to you and tell you to work harder, and he'll challenge you in that way.
When you wrestle him, he can't sometimes hear the whistle, and it gets real frustrating when he keeps beating the crap out of you, and you just sort of have to go with it, and then you have to tap him, and he can't hear you sometimes. But yeah, he's fun to work with.
I worked real hard for it, and I told my dad that when I was younger, when I started middle school, I said, Dad, I've been thinking about it. Someday, hopefully, I'll win an award, like a scholarship for wrestling or something. And my dad said, well, give everything you got, go for 100%. I wish I did, and I'm real proud of myself, and I put a lot of effort in it.
Ann and Dan and 22 others will receive $1,000 scholarships, as our parents did before us. Sometimes we worry about the future. We are just fine. Back in a moment.
Welcome back to the Breslin Center. St. Martin dePorres leads Mason County Central 25-23 at halftime. The Eagles shooting just 28% from the free throw line. Tim McCormick, you look at these two teams, these two defenses, if you will, and you look how they're playing one another, and you can understand why it's such a tight ball game.
You got a 2-1-2 zone defense. Well, how do you beat that? Over the top is where the weakness is. You get the misdirection going. Now, as the defense converges, you get a three-point shot. Let's hold it right here. 2-1-2 again. Now the problem with zone defenses is that you're covering an area, not a man. As the shot goes up, you're not really boxing anybody out, and that creates a lot of lanes for the offensive players to crash the boards. Also, defensively, in transition, it's a lot easier to run to an open area. Now, the open area here is, stop it, right in the middle. Watch Chad Pleiness find the open spot. A low delivery, though. That's the time where he might want to use the bounce pass. Had a chance to create some offense, and the turnovers really hurt them from time to time.
Mason County Central on the verge of possibly losing for the first time this year, but they've got a half to make it up. They trail by 2. We're back with more at the Breslin Center right after this on Fox Sports Detroit. Mason County Central isn't used to this. They're down by 2 at the half to St. Martin dePorres, but they're within striking range, shooting just 36% from the floor. We talked about the scholar athletes and that great piece with John Keating at halftime here at the Breslin Center. Acknowledged well, and rightfully so. Great ovation from the crowd here. Speaking of great GPAs, Scottville Mason County Central has a 3.4 as a ball club team. Tim, you look at the stats, what jumps right out at you? 36% shooting from the Spartans?
Definitely, and also the points off turnovers really gave the Spartans a nice advantage. The rebounds are even. Now, one thing that I'd be concerned about if I was Mason County Central is they didn't get very good support from the support players. Chad Pleiness and Adrian Witten did a nice job. 0 for 8 from the other support guys.
If you want to look at the glass half full, though, I guess Tim Jensen could say one of my best scorers, Jesse Deering, hasn't scored yet, and we're still right in the ball game.
Well, he also knows that Al Anaganye hasn't done it either on the other team.
Witten looked to feed. Here's Deering. A triple try, and that one's short. Here's Hughes back the other way in the lane. Loose ball and another turnover. Each team had 7 in that first half, and we've got a foul on the floor. David Denham will pick up the personal.
A lot of times everybody focuses on shooting percentage. Basketball is inexact science. Some days you shoot well, other days the rebounds bounce to you. The key thing that's constant, though, is hustle and being able to get on the floor and make those kind of plays.
That's what he's gotten both these teams here. Mason County Central, though, usually shoots 49% from the floor, and another reach in. Anaganye now with 3, Tim, and you expressed concern at the halftime about his foul trouble.
Matt, my concern is that Pleiness and Anaganye both had 2 fouls, and I felt like it was important to get to the 6-minute mark without picking up that crucial foul. Anaganye is awesome when he's getting the ball in the low post. This is going to do a lot to take him out, and I'd go right at him.
dePorres in that zone, and Deering has it far side. Just underway here in the third quarter. dePorres leads Mason County Central 25-23. On jumper, good from Pleiness. There is a movie out coming to a theater near you called He Got Game. Chad Pleiness has plenty of it.
I didn't even see it. I didn't even know he was in that movie.
Stars Ray Allen of the Milwaukee Bucks. But Pleiness might have a role if he warmed up to Spike Lee. There's a travel. Tim, what do you see when they come out of the locker room right away?
First of all, in this case right here, Pleiness does a nice job making the jump shot, but right there, drive there, make number 5-5 commit himself because Anaganye's foul prone.
Pleiness just hit another long-range jumper, and the Spartans are on top by 2. They are trying to make history in Scottville. A turnover, but Johnson regroups and gets it back. Lobs underneath Denham amongst the trees, but he kisses it off the window to even it up at 27. Great crossover dribble by Witten, who lost it but then gathered it back up and then turned it over. Hughes was there to pick it off. Hughes has numbers. Pop from the dotted line and drill it.
21, Calvin Hughes.
dePorres on a 4-0 spurt to climb on top by 2.
Once again, Matt, I say you got to go at Gagne.
You got to go at him when he's got 3 fouls, right, Tim? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Numbers for dePorres. Johnson on the break. Spin in the lane, off the glass, no. Follow-up, Hughes, no. Gagne is there for the follow-up. 7 points for the big fella. The lead is 4 for dePorres. Mason County Central doesn't want that big guy handling the ball. There's a turnover. 2-on-1. Owens tried a no-look pass intended for Hughes, but
no look. He probably should have looked.
Or shot it. Deering strong at the hole, but Gagne says not today.
Well, the momentum was wearing yellow. Now it's switched over to the gold, or to the blue. dePorres has made a nice reaction, and it's been keyed by their guard play.
Deering will trigger it. The kid who at age 6 was a manager for this club and got a kid just riding the bus. Gregor misses the jumper and Johnson controls for dePorres. Denham slashes in the lane and he's fouled. dePorres leads at 31-27, 4:50 left to go in this third quarter of play. dePorres on a 6-0 run.
I want to give Coach Derek Owens a little credit here for his player. You look at Denham's game and you think to yourself, well, you know, I know he's a good free throw shooter, so why do I let him keep shooting jump shots? Derek Owens took him before the season and said, you're my #1 free throw shooter. You catch the ball. I want you going aggressively to the basket and make something happen. And that's a good instance of a coach giving some information and the player running with it.
Helped to have 21 points the other night, 7 of 14 for the floor, and 25 huge points in the quarterfinal win over Notre Dame. Right now, dePorres on top by 4. Back at the Breslin Center with more right after this on Fox Sports Detroit. Pistons lost a tough one last night at Gund Arena. Wednesday night, they take on the Cavaliers, 7:30. Fred McLeod, Greg Kelser have your play-by-play right here on Fox Sports Detroit. The pregame starts tonight off at 7 o'clock.
dePorres turning up the throttle, and what I see here is that if you're going to go to the offensive boards, the easiest time to get the offensive rebounds baskets is on the fast break because the defense is scrambling back. They're trying to find their man. There's no box outs, and dePorres and Coach Owens has to be real happy the last 3 minutes of this game.
Derek Owens, who led this team to a state title in 1996, says it's no easier this time around, is a friend to these players off the court, but on the court, he is a disciplinarian. And his ball club handles themselves very, very well. He says, along with him and the principal, Sunbeam Hughes, they preach, you are a student athlete of dePorres High School 24 hours a day.
There you go. Denham on the line. You know, he's a real good football player, too. Last year, they won the state title. He catches 2 touchdown passes at the Silverdome.
He was hurting in 96, though. He was on this basketball team when they won it all, but really didn't play because of grades. He admits he took the wrong route and wants to rectify that, helping this team win it this year. 32-27, dePorres leads it, although the Eagles are struggling from the free throw line here in this ballgame. Another turnover. Gagne's big arms get in there. Knocked away by Pleiness, but they'll call it off Scottville.
Let's take a look up close and personal and see if the correct call was made. Scrambling back on defense. Teremun Johnson up high, and they're up. Could have been a charge.
They knew we were going to look at it, so they wanted to tuck out of the way. Here's Gregor. Back to Deering, who will drive, kick it back to Wheaton. Witten all the way around the left side. Left alone for 3. Off the back iron, Scottville with a long rebound, and he'll slow it up for dePorres and hand it to Johnson. We approach the 4-minute mark of the third quarter, 32-27. dePorres on top by 5. Big guys double team, kisses it off the window. The follow-up by TJ is good. Teremun Johnson now with 5.
A lot of people would say that he hasn't had a stellar game, 1 out of 4 in the first half.
but you look at his bounce in the other areas. He had 5 rebounds and 4 assists.
There's a poke away. Now Pleiness back, dotted line jumper in the lane. Can't get it to fall. Gregor had the rebound, but knocked out of bounds by Johnson. Johnson and Pleiness are jawing a little bit. You get to that point when you reach this intense of a ball game, and what's at stake, of course. Deering will inbound. Needs some help. Spartans get another crack at it. 3:34 left to go in the third. dePorres leads by 7.
That zone's protected Anaganye pretty well, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. But they have not. Spartans really haven't tried to drive in there like you were talking about. Pleiness will try to get it done himself. Another one that's short. Gregor to Witten. Mason County's getting an awful lot of rebounds. They're getting their looks. They just got to start converting.
Oh, Matt, if you shoot the ball from deep, if it misses, chances are there's a few more miles per hour on the ball. It's going to bounce long.
Deering had it blocked by Denham. Here's Hughes up the left side. Bounce pass finds Anaganye. Stolen by Deering, but a foul. And it's on Anaganye. Now, if you're Derek Owens, do you sit him down for a little while?
No, he's gone for the rest of this quarter and probably first 4 or 5 minutes of the fourth.
Owens looks like he will make the move to Glaspie, and he does.
You know, that's a case where big guys aren't used to covering on the court. They don't move their feet as well, and he reached in. And you've got to understand that the referee is about 5 or 6 feet away. They're never going to miss that call.
Witten up the near side. He and his Spartans of Mason County Central trail by 7. You don't want to be trailing dePorres by double digits. You want to hang with them. Gregor leans in. It's good, but will they count it? No. The foul before the shot. David Gregor, who had 10 points and 10 caroms the other night.
Let's see if David shuffles his feet. Nice low position, absolutely walked. Referee called it on the floor.
Calling the foul on dePorres. So the Spartans get another look. Witten got caught up in the air, finds Deering, who throws it off the glass, and he's tripped by Sturdivant.
One thing that they're trying to do is, now that Anaganye is on the bench, trying to take it inside the paint. Last 2 possessions, going to the basket aggressively. Witten doing a nice job. He hasn't scored like he did in the first half, though. He was a strong influence, and I think he's lucky he got bailed out on the foul there.
Witten and Jesse Deering have an interesting relationship. Deering at the free throw line now. Witten came over from Australia as an exchange student. He told Lynn and Dave Cameron, who he's staying with during this school year, that he wanted to play basketball. So the first thing Tim Jensen, the head coach of Mason County Central, decided to do, open up the gym and let Jesse guard Adrian Witten for a while. He is the only guy who's been able to take Jesse Deering 84 feet consistently. He had his starting point guard.
Yeah, he said that Jesse Deering has some Vinnie Johnson in him. He likes to get the ball and heat it up in a real hurry. And out of anybody on the Mason County team, Jesse Deering is known as the gym rat.
44 to 32. Listen, drop to the center. Make sure you really drop it to the center, okay? All right here, right now, 44 to 32. Let's go. Team. Hey, but it's all right, team. 1, 2, 3. Team. Hey, get it down,
We talked about the scholar athletes, such great work during our halftime piece. Jesse Deering, who we've been talking about, carries a 3.9 GPA, wants to own his own business someday. Similar to what his family does right now in Ludington.
Full court pressure. I wouldn't be surprised to see them play it real strong on the ball. Once they get into half court, drop into a zone.
We did not see this in the semifinal matchup against Ishpeming the other night. Pours up the right side, and Denham loses it out of bounds.
Interesting philosophy. When you're trying to press full court, you don't always go for steals. You're trying to encourage the other team to turn it over. Throwing it up court, bad pass. You know what? If he would have thrown that ball in a spot where Denham would have caught it, it would have been deflected.
Armand Gates, who's checked into Derek Owens' lineup. Witten alone, but he couldn't find the range. Lyson, all kinds of pump moves. That one's off the back iron. Spartans have gone cold. They trail by 7 as we approach the 2-minute mark of the third quarter here at the Breslin Center.
Back to man-to-man.
Important to mix it up against a DePorres team that is so experienced and been to this tournament together and worked in tournaments in the offseason and plays so well together.
Oh, my mistake. They drop back into a zone. It's hard to figure it out. You know, if we can't figure it out and we're looking at monitors and have a chance to sit here relaxed, can you imagine trying to figure it out as the opponent's point guard?
Got to be quick. Got to be thinking while you're dribbling, and of course they're playing a box and one every once in a while as well.
Yeah, key thing, if you want to find out what kind of zone defense they're in, you run a man right through and see if anybody picks him up.
Another turnover. Sturdivant thought Gates was going to be flashing out toward the baseline. Instead, Gates went toward the hoop. Derek Owens has told us before, Tim, he doesn't want to beat themselves. That's how they lost during the season, and they're turning it over now.
Nice little full court or full trap in the corner, and that's just a mistake. You know, you can't have the kind of unforced turnovers. That's what will allow teams like Mason County Central to stay in this game. Now, the key thing for them, they need to execute something to the basket. They're settling for jump shots. Let's see what Coach Jensen has to say.
Get him taped up, somebody. Get some tape on his shoulder. Jesse, get up. Hey, Jesse, get out here on the right. Chad, over here. Adrian, start at the point. We're running Spartan to score. David, wide. John, wide. But you guys got to crash the glass. Crash it, all right? Hey, 44-32. Stay in it. Stay in it. If we don't score, 32 back there, okay? Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Hey.
Tim Jensen and Derek Owens working on strategy. Owens, and we talked about this before we went inside the huddle of Mason County. DePorres had a string of 12 straight wins during the regular season. In the middle of the year, they then dropped a couple of games, and Owens says it's because we beat ourselves. We don't feel anybody beat us this year. We've beaten ourselves. That cannot happen against Mason County. DePorres is trying to keep the Spartans in the ball game with the turnovers. Mason County Central 0 for their last 9 from the field, Tim. And they are getting outboarded now, 24-17. Adrian Witten against Jason Owens. As Witten brings it into front court. Great matchup there. So quick, both of them. Pleiness showing his ball handling ability. Good spin move. Dotted line jumper is there. Point lead for DePorres. Denham straight at the Pleiness, but he comes up short there. Deering 2-on-2. Stop. Pop. In and out. Follow up. Good. David Gregworth. Johnson finds Hughes with an answer. Under 30 to go in the third.
I'm always impressed when a coach calls timeout and his team comes out and responds. You know why that is? Because one team is getting refocused and they're getting some direction. The other team, they're feeling good about each other and they relax.
Also says they're listening to their coach. Deering misses the driving layup. His struggles continue. Sturdivant loses it. It's on the floor. Owens, he loses it, traveling. I think Owens thought that the clock was winding down more than just 6 seconds and was going to rush up a shot there.
Well, also, his dad was right there, and I think he was calling a play. And one thing I learned earlier, if my dad says something, I better pay attention to him, and I think he took his eye off the ball.
So Deering will trigger it with 6 seconds left to go in the third. Pressure by Owens in the backcourt. Witten has it. He's double teamed, stripped by Owens, gets it back, forces it up. Oh, in and out. 36-31. DePorres leads by 5 after third. The final 8 minutes coming your way from the Breslin Center. Class C bragging rights on the line between the Eagles and Spartans, only on Fox Sports Detroit. Folks, you know there has to be a winner and a loser. There's one thing losing, there's another thing beating yourselves, and that's something that Detroit St. Martin dePorres cannot handle.
I treat every game pretty much the same, as long as my kids are prepared to play. And going to any basketball game that you play, the key factor is not to beat yourself. If they're a better team today, they'll beat us. If not, I cannot stand or stomach beating ourselves, and the kids know that.
The one common denominator from the players that I've had a chance to see from Coach Owens' program, yeah, the wins and losses are important, but his emphasis, forget the dunks, forget the threes, the taunting, a lot of things that other teams do. He respects the game, so do his players, and they have a lot of respect for their opponents.
I agree with you, Jim. They carry themselves very, very well. St. Martin dePorres should be very proud of this basketball club, whether they win or lose. In the win over Kalamazoo Christian, 65-57 the other night, they had a huge lead. Easily could have put them away with bigger buckets and so on. Instead, class all the way through.
You wonder why Deering has had such a struggle today. Remember, first 2 minutes of the game, he took a charge, banged his head on the floor, hurt his neck a little bit. You sort of wonder if maybe that's had some kind of a negative influence.
That's a good point. Shooting 41% from the floor on the season tonight. He is struggling, no question about it. 0 for 9. Here's Johnson right wing as we open up the fourth quarter. dePorres on top and with the ball. The follow-up by Hughes, no. And the pinstriper's got another whistle to blow.
Calvin Hughes doing a nice job on the glass, and I watch these guys play for dePorres, and I like the chemistry they have. Nice move by Johnson. He goes down low. And a big part of this, these guys have played together for a long time. Jason Owens, Sturdivant, they played on the same team, coached by Derek Owens since 4th grade. Denham and also Johnson, they came along 8th grade, so these guys go way back together, and you get the feeling that, Johnson drives in the lane, that Calvin Hughes probably knows where his shot when he misses is going to come off.
You talked about the big guys in foul trouble. It continues with Mason County Central. David Gregor now has 4, but dePorres continues to struggle from the free throw line after the Hughes miss. 3 of 9 now, 3 of 10, excuse me, on the afternoon. And the second one is a miss as well. Loose ball on the floor. Gregor finds it. It's kicked, but no call, and Hughes hits the jumper in the lane.
Calvin's got a nose for the ball, doesn't he?
Sure does. Talked about how that tough loss a year ago has brought this team closer together. It's evident on the floor. Good pass by Deering underneath, but stripped. Here comes Owens. He doesn't have the numbers, but he's going to push it anyway. The lead-in jumper off the glass is good. Owens more of a factor in the offense in the finals than he was in the semis. Some pressure being the coach's son a little bit.
Well, the benefit is, he's been in the gym since he was 2 years old.
Biggest lead for dePorres. They're up by 9 with just under 7 minutes to go. Pleiness got Johnson in the air with a nice move.
I think we've seen that move 4 or 5 times. You know what that reminds me of? Kevin McHale, up and under, get the defense up. The dePorres defenders have to realize that when you go against them, keep your feet down, just put your hands up, and he's not going to hurt you.
Tough to lay off it, though, isn't it, as a defender? Johnson baseline is triple teamed, looking for Denham underneath, finds him, and it's good. dePorres is just killing the Spartans underneath. 42-33, the bulge is back to 9 for dePorres.
This is a critical possession. You can't get down by double figures, especially against a team as talented as dePorres. They've got to stay in touch.
Here's Witten. Now to Pleiness. They have been the entire offense for Mason County Central. Pleiness creating behind the back, stolen by Hughes. 2-on-2, spin move, carried it. Had the right idea, just couldn't get that ball under control.
At this point in the season, you have to try to stay with your fundamental basketball. Fundamental starts with F-U-N. I don't know what's fun about fundamentals, but this isn't in his best interest to go behind his back, especially against quick defenders. Telegraph, up high, weak side defense. Now, once again, quick spin dribble. It's not a great move, Matt.
It would have looked pretty on the highlights, but I'm sure Derek Owens would have preferred just one strong to the glass and take your chances with a foul. Jesse Deering will trigger the inbound for the Spartans. A rough game so far for Deering, the all-time assist leader in Mason County Central high school history. Pleiness thought he had a foul. The tip in good. John Peterson's first bucket of the ball game. And it's 42-35. Over and back. Jason Owens turns it over. Maybe this is where Mason County has to make a little bit of a surge here, Tim.
Let's take a look here. Perimeter defense, and he stepped down the line.
Pleiness finally gets it past the timeline, and he's hip-checked by Teremun Johnson. Pleiness will go talk to Johnson. Those guys have been drawing at each other all game long. They like to mix it up.
First half, the offense was very crisp, but what I noticed is that the Spartans did a much better job of penetrating to the basket. We haven't seen that, and I'm not sure if it's negligence by Mason County Central or maybe it's just better perimeter defense by dePorres.
Deering finds Witten. Witten in Mason County down by 7. A pull-up jumper from the left elbow doesn't fall. Rebound Hughes. Under 5 minutes to go here in the final quarter of the finals of the Class C title tilt. Nice move by Hughes. The left-hander off the glass was good.
I like Teremun Johnson's game a lot. He's definitely a Division I player. You mentioned he's going to Fordham last year. He's going to be ready to play right away.
Just 8 points, but doing it on the defensive end as well. Deering's jumper off the back iron. He still can't find it. 0 for 10 from the floor. Johnson to Owens. Good pass from behind to Hughes, and the follow-up is good. Biggest lead of the ball game for either club, and Mason County needs to talk it over. They trail by 11. 4:24 left to go in the fourth.
Earlier this week, Coach Owens told his guys, and it's very important to stick with fundamentals. There you see the nice pass, nice delivery, and they've got a chance to get the athleticism going. They're a much more athletic team than Mason County Central.
Mason County needs to step it up. They trail by 11. Back with more at the Breslin Center on Fox Sports Detroit. Folks, I don't know about you, but I'm fired up about this upcoming Tigers season. Catch all the 1998 Tiger and the preview special. Monday at 7 o'clock, we'll take an hour-long look at the 1998 Tigers with player interviews and in-depth analysis for the upcoming year. It's hosted by John Keating with Kirk Gibson and Josh Lewin. Catch the 1998 Tigers season preview special Monday, March 30th at 7 o'clock only on Fox Sports Detroit. Maybe a little shot in the arm for dePorres with a big fella coming back.
Coach Jensen from Central is not very happy about that news. Another problem for them. Now, if you're looking to get back in this game, I looked to focus on your opponent's weakness. And dePorres does not have real quick guards. Mason County Central has outstanding quickness. So they need to not only penetrate, but try to get all the way to the basket and get Anna Gagne out of there again.
Problem is, one of the best shooters in Mason County history, Jesse Deering, hasn't been able to catch fire, but that guy sure has. Chad Pleiness continues to roll. He brings his club within 9. Pleiness has 19.
There's a problem, though, for Mason County Central. They want to press and create turnovers, but dePorres, even though they're not quick on the perimeter, they handle the ball exceptionally well. Very few turnovers.
Sharp passing, Jason Owens, a great dribbler. Hands to Johnson. Deering out on him. Johnson, good spin move. Stops, finds underneath, but Gates lost it out of bounds. Maybe the pass was a little low for him.
At this point, I'm a little bit surprised that dePorres isn't going to go into some kind of a delay, milk the clock. The clock is their friend right now. They've got a nice lead of 9 points, and there's only 3:30 to remain in this game.
18 turnovers for dePorres. There's Pleiness, and he was held by Johnson. Johnson wanted a walk. They'll go 1-1. Up and under moves, catching him again, Tim.
Stay down defensively. Don't lose your focus. They're pretty good defensively. I'm not sure. I don't know if I would call anything right there. But of course, I'm not an official. I don't have a whistle, so it's none of my business.
Maybe if the official had a monitor, he wouldn't have called it either. 3:24 left to go in the final quarter. Pleiness' free throw is down. He'll earn another.
Both teams in the penalty. Everything's going to be shot at the line.
Mason County Central down just 8. And as Tim mentioned, they will look to press after the make. Peterson on the ball.
Man, I'd say get real aggressive, because if you foul, that's not the worst case scenario. dePorres not a great free throw shooting team.
There's a loose ball. Mason County comes up with it. Pleiness strong to the rack. He tripped, but no call. Owens, good pass to Sturdivant. He'll force it up and down. And Witten's on the floor. Up slowly. The lead is 9. dePorres on top. Pleiness from the baseline, short. Falls down again. And Gagne picks up the foul. Oh, they say he stepped on the line. No foul on the big fella.
One thing I noticed about Pleiness is that he does a lot of real good things, but he spends a lot of time on the floor, doesn't he? Always looking for the foul call. Referees aren't giving it to him. He needs to stay on his feet.
That's a good point. Because then you get caught in transition defense, a man down. Trying to shake Sturdivant in the lane, and a whistle. Pleiness getting a favorable whistle here down the stretch. If he can start making his free throws, we could have ourselves a tight ball game down the stretch here.
My philosophy on offensive players is you look at field goal percentage. Pleiness does positive things with the ball. He shoots 60% from the field. He's a very good passer. And there you saw him trying to include his teammates in there. Chad Pleiness, a very intelligent player.
Also a pretty good free throw shooter. The first one is off the back iron. Johnson with a rebound. I think I jinxed him.
I wouldn't take the blame if I were you.
Under 2.5 to go. 48-39, dePorres with a lead. And Deering with the foul on Owens. You know, you were talking to me before the ballgame about free throw shooting and how very important it is, no matter what the level. You have to be able to convert your freebies if you want to pull away or get closer to a ball club.
And dePorres shoots 100 free throws per man after every single practice, and these are the situations where it pays off.
Give and go with Gagne and Johnson. Didn't fool the Spartans. They knocked it out of bounds. With just 2:20 left, Tim, can the Spartans get back into this ball game?
Yeah, absolutely, but it's going to take defense first. You know, you can't make a comeback trying to outscore teams. You need to make stops and then convert. And there's point guard on the court, the coach on the floor, Jason Owens, the coach's son. And you know, I noticed last loose ball, foul was called, ball rolled to half court. Jason Owens sprinted down, grabbed the ball, ran over, gave it to the official. I like that little sucking up to the referees. Very intelligent.
David Gregor fouls out.
Coach with his dad. You know, the greatest asset that any young man could have is Coach Jensen congratulates an outstanding player. Going to the bench, David Gregor. Greatest asset that any young man could have is a dad that takes the kind of interest that Coach Owens takes in his son, and not only his own son, but all the players.
You talked about that relationship, Gregor with his father, who coached 2 state girls titles. And Gregor, an outstanding athlete, an all-state high jumper as well. At 6'6", that's not too bad. Johnson's first one goes.
And with Gregor on the bench, that takes their best shot blocker off the court. And open lane for the dePorres perimeter guys to drive.
Tim's talked about Johnson's game all afternoon as he misses the second, but you saw the 10 rebounds. He's getting it done in a number of ways. Deering's three-pointer is good. His first bucket of the ball game. Is it too little too late, though? Mason County down by 7 as we approach the 2-minute mark of the fourth. Sturdivant, Denham, cross court to Johnson. And as Tim mentioned, dePorres will milk it a little bit. Witten with a foul. dePorres with 4 state titles in Class C, 1 in Class D.
15 foul.
Tim Keith on the ball. Johnson to inbound. Finds Anagagne. Back to Johnson, now Denham. And Witten with a foul on Denham.
That's number 9, 1 more, and they're in the penalty.
Foul 11, Witten.
Tim Jensen, who coached these guys early on through some tough times. Undefeated season at 26-0, hoping that their first loss does not come here, but they trail by 7. Good inbound. Keith fouls Denham.
You know, both of these teams have to be proud of the way they've played today, but also consider that in the state of Michigan, there's around 700 teams that would love to have an opportunity to play in an environment like this in a game of this kind of meeting. Both schools should be very proud.
Jensen talked about team goals. He had each guy write down 3 personal and 3 team goals at the beginning of the season. One guy said an undefeated season. That's not what he expected out of this ball club, but he did expect to be playing for this Class C title game. Right now he trails by 7 and needs a whole lot to go his way to pick up their first ever crown.
Five out of 14 for the line for dePorres. That last stroke looked pretty good. Maybe they should just take a couple dribbles and rise up and shoot the jumper.
Denham gets the kind roll to give dePorres a 9-point bulge now. Wheaton in the lane, back to Deering. He'll pop for 3 off the front rim, and Denham with a rebound. Up ahead to Johnson. Doesn't have the numbers, he'll slow it up. Smart move, and Deering fouls him. Well, Scottville Mason County Central said they have to take good shots, pick their spots to run, rebound the basketball, and the starters will have to play an awful lot. Now, they've logged a lot of court time, but they haven't been able to shoot the ball like they're used to during the regular season. Just 33% from the floor up to this point.
Johnson made the nice decision. He understands the game, and that kind of maturity doesn't just happen by playing basketball. Remember, he's the quarterback on this football team.
Missed the free throw. Denham's follow-up, and he is fouled. Remember, in high school, you have to wait to get in the lane until the ball hits the rim. And Denham, and the size of dePorres, is the reason they're able to outmuscle some of the smaller Mason County players.
Great point.
You got to feel good for this kid, the 6'3" senior, who, as I said earlier, did not play a whole lot on that 96 state championship team. His grades suffered a little bit, and Owen said, you need to sit, my friend. You need to learn a little bit more. His grades are up. His game is up. His attitude has always been positive, and he and his dePorres teammates look like they will pick up their 5th state title in Class C, 6th in school history. Knocks them both down. Clutch free throws to give them an 11-point lead with a buck and a half left to go in the ball game. Witten can't shake free. Johnson with an ear steal. Playson in the backcourt, now front court. Lean-in jumper off the rim, and dePorres mops the board up. Pleiness has shown us something. In defeat, he has shown us an awful lot of game. Now, this guy's going to play football at the next level, and Jay Smith wants him to play basketball as well up in Mount Pleasant. He does have a pretty good game, but as you said, there are some things that he needs to work on.
His buddy on the front line, David Greger, looking on. The thing that surprises me the most about him, you look at his field goal percentage, 60%. Normally a player with that percentage is a back-to-the-basket guy. He's very much on the perimeter. It's a nice tribute to his skills from outside 10, 15 feet.
Denham again makes good from the free throw.
Tim Jensen has a great deal of respect for what dePorres does. He said that they have the best defensive philosophy that he's seen all year. Plus, they play a great schedule. No surprise that this dePorres team has played as well as they have.
Derek Owens talked about the pressure, if you will, and the tradition in dePorres. Pressure is self-induced. His guys look at it more as a pride thing. And dePorres can be very proud today. And so can Mason County Central. Nice basket by Adrian Witten. It's an 11-point lead for dePorres.
Foul 51, Peterson.
Before the game, Coach Owens felt his biggest concern, would they be able to keep a rein on Adrian Witten? There's a little Jordan-esque move to the basket. Great body control, nice finish. The kid from Australia.
Witten had 12 points in the first half. That is his first bucket of the second half, Tim.
Yeah, and first half, he was very aggressive, penetrating to the basket. Second half, he seemed more content, staying on the perimeter, trying to get his teammates involved.
Which is kind of strange because Anaganye was out most of the second half, and you would think he's the one that would force the game outside. Instead, when Anaganye was in, that's when Witten went at him.
Yeah, but I can't really fault him because he wasn't trying to get his own shots. He was trying to get everybody else involved. A little bit of a change in strategy that surprises me, but yeah, it's an unselfish move on his part.
Sturdivant's second free throw is good. A very important role player off dePorres' bench. When I was talking to Derek Owens about his starters, he made sure that I mentioned Mark Sturdivant and the role he plays for this ball club. Now Tim Jensen does a nice thing. He lets a lot of guys experience the flavor of state championship basketball. Witten will force up the triple. It's short, and Owens picks up the rebound. Quickly up ahead to Johnson. A little too far for the big fella, but he saves it inbounds. Gathered there by the Spartans. Witten, dish to Pleiness. Pleiness, good. Pleiness brings him within 11, and another foul. Owens and Witten get tied up, and Witten quickly tells Owens, my fault, didn't mean to spin you around like that.
Spartan foul, Witten is third. And for Mason County Central.
Nice hustle on the break. Let's see if he gets away with a little travel. At this point in the game, officials know that the game is in. There's no question who's going to win. Why stop the play? Let's get it over with and give these kids their medals and let them bask in the glory a little bit.
An emotional Adrian Witten. And how close is this guy to his coach? How much of a bond have they gotten over 1 year? Well, Coach Jensen is going to take his wife, Carrie, to Washington, D.C. this summer. They have to leave their little one, Noah, behind, but they invited Adrian Witten to come with them and experience going to the nation's capital.
Remember, he's a foreign exchange student, grew up in South Africa, went to Australia, and what a thrill for him to come to Michigan and get a chance to play for a state championship.
His father was a soccer player and works for Qantas Airlines. He said, if you like basketball, go ahead and play, and he's been playing for a long time, and he plays it very well. dePorres bumps their lead to 12, 36.4 seconds left to go in the ball game. And like Tim Jensen, Derek Owens shows a lot of class, letting his guys experience what it's like to play on a championship ball club or in a championship ball game.
41, David Dodson. 55.
Both clubs well represented from their communities. We can't say enough about that. All the teams that have advanced here to the Breslin Center this weekend have been blessed with an awful lot of community support. Deering checks out, and that will be emotional as he heads to the bench one more time for Mason County Central. A four-year starter. Started for Jensen and Mason County Central midway through his freshman year. Chad Pleiness ends his career as the all-time leading scorer in Spartans history.
Says a lot about the Catholic League in Detroit, doesn't it?
Sure does. Just 30 seconds before the Class C trophy will be presented to Detroit St. Martin dePorres. We should also extend our appreciation to everybody involved in our broadcast and the folks here at the Breslin Center who do a top-notch job. This their fourth straight year hosting the class championships. So dePorres will run it out, and a couple of guys will try and get some points and a foul underneath. This game will go down as a double-digit defeat for Mason County Central, but it was a lot closer than that.
Yeah, and the final toll in favor of dePorres was that they have very good balance. Some guys, you take them away one night, somebody else will step up, and in the end, that's what's going to make a champion.
Their size was a difference. The rebounding, obviously, as the statistics will show, they are up by 13 off the glass. That was a big difference as well. And of course, you can't blame any one person. But Mason County Central struggled from the field today, something that they're not used to. We hope folks look more at Mason County Central's team and their accomplishments over a 4-year period and not just this game. And dePorres obviously will leave the impression with this ball game, but what they've done in their careers speaks for itself as well. All that's left to be determined is the final score as we approach 5 seconds left. dePorres, your Class C state champions for the 5th time, and a 6th trophy will be in their trophy case at Detroit St. Martin dePorres. 58-46. dePorres beats Mason County Central. The presentation's coming up. Derek Owens and St. Martin dePorres wins the Class C state title. Back with more celebration from the Breslin Center on Fox Sports Detroit after this. Welcome back to the Breslin Center. Always a tradition here at the Michigan High School Athletic Association State Finals. The presentations for the award winners, for the champions, and the runners-up. Let's go to PA announcer Eric O'Forseth for the presentations to Mason County Central and St. Martin dePorres.
Association Representative Council will make the award presentation. First, let us honor the runner-up in Class C, the Spartans of Mason County Central. Robert Papis. Number 5, Ken Lundberg. #21, John Sanregret. #23, Adam Tetzlaff. Number 15, Dan Altman. #25, Curtis King. #33, Tim Keith. #35, Jared Litweiler. #41, Rusty Murky. #43, Rob Faulkner. #51, John Peterson. Number 3, Jesse Deering. #11, Adrian Witten. #31, Ken Papis. #45, Chad Pleiness. And number 53, David Gregoire. And accepting the runner-up trophy in Class C, Tim Jensen. Congratulations to the Spartans of Mason County Central on an outstanding season.
Tim Jensen and the Spartans have come further than any other team in Mason County Central history. They are the runners-up in Class C. dePorres, the state champions for the 6th time in that school's history. An awful lot of pride, and they are ready to receive their medallions as well.
Number 5, Mario Garrett. Number 10, Keith Napier. 11, Juan Ghostin. 24, Armand Gates. 33, Mark Sturdivant. 41, David Dunson. 44, Robert Walton. 51, Brandon Kennard. 54, Alfred Spencer. 3, David Denham. Number 14, Jason Owens. #21, Calvin Hughes. 32, Teremun Johnson. 55, Aloysius Anaganye. And accepting the championship trophy, Coach Derek Owens. Congratulations to the Eagles of Detroit St. Martin dePorres, Class C boys basketball champions.
St. Martin dePorres celebrates their 6th state title thanks to a 58-46 win over Mason County Central at the Breslin Center on this championship Saturday. The Eagles, led by David Denham, 17 points and 9 rebounds. Calvin Hughes had 13 points, and dePorres owns the glass by 8. For everybody involved in our broadcast, especially the hardworking crew behind the scenes and my partner Tim McCormick, my name is Matt Shepard. Glad you could join us on the state championship Saturday. Again, the Class C state champions, Detroit St. Martin dePorres, 58-46 winners. Derek Owens and his Eagles are flying high again after the 12-point knockout win